So DayZ Standalone, it's a time-consuming game with no loot and silly spawns that lead you to no loot in some sort of grueling simulation mode where you can't find any food or water to actually go anywhere to get better loot. Now the DayZ mod, it was easier to get going because there were better spawns that led you to places with better distributed loot and also transport systems that could take you to places with higher yield loot. And you could also team with random people and find your teammates easier due to the more compact spawning. Now the majority of this video may sound like me bashing DayZ Standalone, but they are starting to slowly improve, so this is why I thought I would make this. I wanted to point out what I thought were the fundamental flaws in this game, the things that they didn't embrace from the mod, the things that they went ahead with and thought were good, but they just simply weren't, and it's hurt the game in the long run. So I'm going to be comparing DayZ Standalone to the mod quite a lot. I know that does upset some people sometimes. They seem to think that this game is its own game. It's not the mod. But you have to remember the fact that this game would not exist without the mod. The mod laid down the foundations for where this game was going, but they took their own route, the developers, and a lot of people disagree with it still today. And I feel that only now, with this new 6.3 stress test, they're starting to go back to their original roots with the direction that everyone wanted this game to go. For once I've actually made a structured video that just isn't me babbling on about crap, there are some good points in this. There are some very bad points. I've sort of been a bit fair with it, I've thought, and I've presented up things that I always wanted to change and things that I always wanted in and things that I've never wanted in. So I hope you enjoy it. Just sit back and relax and let me know what you think in the comments. What are you supposed to do in this game? There's never really been a goal for DayZ. It's been survive. That's why I always think they need to add some sort of edge, you know, some sort of safe haven or some sort of reason to want to fucking survive. The only reason to survive in this is to have your gear and to kill other people with your gear and get their gear. It is like a gear farming game. That's basically all it can be sometimes. I've always personally wanted something with a bit more depth, with a bit more edge, a bit more community, a bit more reason to talk to someone than just run around and shoot. I've said this before, right? But because the loot is so sparse, people don't want to have to go through this fucking run around for an hour trying to find loot just to get killed by someone who wants your, you know, your fucking axe or your one can of beans. And that is, you know, a general formula, the general formula of what DayZ did evolve from, but it always felt like there was more in the mod, and that if you had a little bit more, you wouldn't be so vicious to want to get more. More was less in the mod because it didn't take so long to gear up. It didn't take so long to find your friends and have some fun with them. In this, it's a grueling, absolutely, you know, just tedious endeavor just to get a little bit of gear. And that's not even, you know, meeting your friends. Like, I couldn't imagine now if I wanted to meet with someone who spawned in fucking Electro. That's an hour gone of running, and with the current food and water system, you can't do it. You just can't. And there's no loot as well. This is my gripe. I think the game could be fantastic if it was a bit more of a game and less of a sim, and they are slowly moving into that. I'll give them that. Now you can spawn with a backpack, now you spawn with a UI. You can see your thirst a bit better, you can see your food better, you can see your fatigue. I like the fact that you have to crawl everywhere when you're a bit thirsty. Again, you know, it's a little bit annoying because this game is well known for being basically basically a running simulator or a walking simulator or a clothing simulator. And I think they just need to push it back more into a game and less from a simulation, because I don't want to play a simulation. I want to be able to team with my friends. And can you? Can you really team on this game as casually as you can with others? There is zero casual element in DayZ, and it's been that way for a while. And I think that, again, is sort of crippling any form of community or any form of casual play. It's not a pick up and play game. We know that. We know that for a fact. And DayZ mod wasn't that much of a pick up and play game, but it still had a better flow to, you know, the game mechanics. When you wanted to get in it and play with the friends, you could do it somewhat. There were mods that allowed you to either port somewhere, or there were even bicycles. I mean, I don't know what the status is on bicycles in this game. I don't want to get into that. I just want the game to be less of a simulation and more of a game. And like I said, they're slowly doing it. but let's hope that they can take more from this and make it a bit more enjoyable, because I like it. I like the stress test. I like the way the game feels. I like the way the game runs. I like the way the UI works. I like the way you pick up stuff. It doesn't feel as clunky. Saying that, the zombies are sort of like, I don't know, like just roaming, teleporting crack addicts. I was a bit disappointed with that the other day, where they were in the floor. That really sort of made me like, oh, come on, you know? With that being said, I actually went back into the game in an offline mode for the stress test, and it spawns you with a few guns, and as you can see here, they've added a lot more zombies, and it is quite difficult to deal with them. They are a major threat now, so that is an improvement. That is something that they've finally added. Shooting in an infested town and city is a no-no. It's just like the old days. You're not going to do it unless you're properly geared, because you have issues like this stumbling, as you can see here, which will just get you swarmed. You'll get swarmed and you'll get killed. But for some reason, you always seem to get killed. I'm a bit confused whether I've just been very unlucky, but I've yet to be knocked out. I think I even got punched to death. I received about 3 punches and I instantly died. So I'm not sure what's happening there. Have they completely abandoned the knockout function? I've never been a big fan of DayZ Standalone's reload system. I don't like the whole drag and drop the magazine into reload. I've always thought it's been a bit clunky and it's very action killing sometimes. They revamped the control system as well, so it is a bit more fluid, aiming down sights and aiming from the hip. In reference to what I was saying with the reload system, I found out that you can use a hotkey with a magazine in relation to what gun you're using, and they will reload that magazine into the gun without going into the inventory system. A majority of the player actions are all done using the left mouse button now, whether it's reloading magazines, opening cans, refilling bottles, and it does seem a little bit friendlier, so again, another plus on the system. I've only just spawned and I'm already in the red for water. Yeah, there are ponds and stuff. Yeah, there is a bit of loot, but not really. But if I wanted to go to Electro to find my friend, or anyone, how do I do that? I don't do that. I legit don't. I try and suicide. And what sort of value do you have if all you want to do is suicide? So I've managed to get some water now, but if I wanted to go to Electro, or I wanted to go to Cherno to meet a friend, I can't. I have to suicide. The realism's too much sometimes. It's good, I enjoy it, but it's too much if you want casual play. You can't have casual play. This game is not a casual game. People can argue and say, oh, but it's DayZ, it's a realistic... It needs to be a game. It needs to be a game. When you're marketing to gamers, not simulation fanatics, you need to apply that palette. You need to apply the game part to it, rather than it just being a constant simulation. Because people have lost interest and they're losing interest still. This is building it back up, I'll admit. I'm enjoying it. I'm not going to say it's the best game in the world. I'm not even going to say it's a good game. It is a bad game. It is a bad game, and it has very, very big flaws sometimes. Yes, I'm not a game designer, but I'm also a gamer, and I know what I want from a game. Without getting everyone too moody and going, oh, the mod. But the mod laid down the foundations for what people wanted from this game. And they didn't follow suit with it. They changed it. They did what they thought was best. And they also, a very bizarre moment, added such bizarre things. And this has been spoke about by loads and loads and loads of content creators and players. Like, why on earth were you adding books? Full books. How do you even get that in the game? Does someone sit there and type out Alice in Wonderland to people? People were modeling meat cleaver hammers. People were modeling teddy bears and different styles of hats, when you couldn't even have zombies that didn't glitch through the floors and didn't glitch through the walls, or you didn't even have bicycles, or even the cars couldn't kill people when they were finally added. They couldn't kill zombies. There was so many issues that just absolutely bewildered people when this game was getting developed. It was like, why on earth are you adding this? We don't need this. We didn't ask for Agriculture Simulator. In all this time, I've ran from that pond and I'm already on like double yellow there. Double yellow parking, and I've only just reached a town to actually look for stuff, which I won't find. I'm probably not going to find any loot. I've been on servers that have just restarted, and it's still very difficult to find loot. Again, the simulation element comes through further than the game element. I don't have a hope in hell of trying to find a friend if I was playing with a friend right now. Not at all. I wouldn't even want to attempt it. And if we did, it would just be such a drab and frustrating experience. I can tell you that for a fact. Of them saying, I'm here, oh, I'm there, oh, I'm here, I'm there, oh, I've spawned in the middle of nowhere now that I finally died. It just, I don't know, it's got an identity crisis. It should have followed suit with the mod. Everyone expected a better version of the mod. I expected a better version of the mod. Oh, if you're gonna say this isn't the mod, I really don't care, because this is what made the game. You can deny it, you can accept it, but the mod made this game. This is the reason the whole game was mod, because the fact of the matter is that Arma 2, a game which was like God knows how many years old, 4, 5 years old, even more, was at the top of the Steam charts for weeks, even months, when the DayZ mod came out. It's the reason I built a computer. It's the reason I went on YouTube to learn how to build a computer, going from a console scrub to build a computer just to play the mod. Spending £300, £400 just to play this mod because of the videos that people made and the experience you had on it and how fun it looked and how fun it felt to actually have played this game. It feels to God like they're having an identity crisis. Does anyone remember hopping on Arma, running straight into Electro, in fact spawning just outside Electro, running straight in there, just finding a shotgun, finding a Winchester, finding a Lee Enfield? Jesus, finding a Lee Enfield, going into the middle of somewhere, shooting, having fucking 20 zombies spawn on your location, seeing someone run. The amount of people you saw, the interaction you had was just so much more. And again, this feels like another identity crisis of turning this into a simulation rather than a game. I don't know what's going to happen with the game. What is after this? I mean, it's going to be approaching its 5-year mark soon. People have had children who are now in school, and this game hasn't even made it out of the womb. This game has legit not made it out of the womb. That is an appropriate comment. It's not even in kindergarten yet. It's not even in nursery. It is not there. It's getting there slowly. I think it's starting to slide out of the womb and it's about to be a little baby. I don't know. No, I think that's an unfair statement. I'll retract that. This game is approaching 5 years old. I would say this baby is still in its mother's arms and she won't let anyone hold it. She won't let anyone, you know, cradle it. I think now she's starting to say, okay, you can scratch its head. I'll listen to your advice, mother. I'll listen to you maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll stop being so protective of it. Maybe I'll stop exiling you and saying, no, you're no longer allowed to comment on this, and banning people for their comments, which, let's not forget, is something they did. They were banning people and blocking people on Twitter for criticizing this game. If you're criticizing a game and you're the developer and you're banning your fan base and people who have made your game popular, there's something wrong with you. You're an overprotective mother. You need to take that criticism of your child and think, well, maybe everyone is right. But they didn't. They went the wrong way. I have my views on DayZ. I have my thoughts on DayZ. Other people have theirs. I don't believe it needs to be a simulation. It needs to be anything but a simulation. But, you know, I think that's a fair comment, that this game was like treated like a baby. A very gifted baby with a very bright future, but the mother's held it back so much and won't let it play with its friends. She won't let it play with its friends. And his friends are saying, come and do this, come and do that. But mother's saying, no, you're not doing that. No, you're not allowed to see Johnny anymore because he's a bad influence. I wanted this game to be the zombie survival game that we all fell in love with. I don't give a fuck anymore, right? The mod was the best. People still play the mod. People are still improving on the mod. We thought that this was going to be a refined version of DayZ mod, and that's what everyone wanted. I can't see why you would say any otherwise. Why would you want anything else when everyone heard that this game was going into development to be made into the actual game that helped Bohemia stay on the top of the charts with DayZ for months on end? Everyone thought, great, it's gonna be the way it is. It's gonna be that game we want. It's gonna be that DayZ mod, but just better, because there were issues with DayZ mods. DayZ mod had a little bit of a learning disability. It was a bit slow. It was a bit clunky. But people still played it because it was fantastic. And it appealed to people. And it kept bringing them back in every time. Because it wasn't so... it's monotonous, the word to use. Because it wasn't so dragged out. Because it didn't take so long. It was more casual. I want to try and help the game. I don't know how I can help the game. I can make a rant video, yeah. Maybe it'll get seen by someone. Maybe it won't. It'll probably completely go under the radar. Some people will probably flame about it because people are still so defensive about this game. I don't know why. People get very upset when you criticize DayZ. Standalone, that is. Don't make fun of my child. He's special. He's not developing as quick as yours, but that's fine. So anyway, if we're going to recap on what's going on right now, I've run for, what, 15, 20 minutes? I've made it back to where I was, and I'm almost dead. I've managed to find a soda and a can of beans. Again, yeah, that's alright. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's survival. That's survival. But what's going to happen to this stage? I'm going to get shot. I'm going to get shot, and then I'm going to have to do it all over again. But I'm not going to want to do it all over again. I'm going to get shot by someone for no reason, because they don't want to lose their gear that they've spent probably 2 hours farming for, although this is a stress test, so they probably were just lucky. I wouldn't be so bothered if it was the mod, because I know there were either vehicles, there were bicycles, there were mods, there was stuff that I could do. Oh shit. To change that, I could have just ran back into a city, because I would have spawned outside of a city and we could have done something. I could have done something. I could have had a bit more fun. I could have just screwed around, found some cans or something, found some flares, found a Lee Enfield, and just went around and killed zombies. So, yeah. It feels like they don't want to fix the small bugs as well. And fixing the small bugs can do a lot of good, I think, for people. I'm annoyed with the shitty VoIP. The VoIP is absolutely crap. You can't hear anything. You have to turn all your effects down. And when I come to editing a video, I have to boost all sorts of different channels. The VoIP is crap. I've never been to the Northwest Airfield on this. I don't ever think I've ever been there because it takes too long. Because it just takes too long and I can't get the gear. How do people even go up there? I check some people's streams sometimes and I see them with like AKSs or whatever with super long scopes and big backpacks. I never even find this stuff. I think the main reason behind this is obviously they changed the spawn points. They changed the working formula again, so you can't spawn in Electro and Cherno. You're basically limited to the eastern fringe here. And anywhere that spawns military loot, either to the east or to the northeast or to the northwest, you can't get to because all the loot between those routes have been just looted. From my understanding, the reason these spawns were changed was to stop highly geared players from the militarized areas just killing anyone who got into the main cities, but that's what people enjoyed. That was the franticness of going in there and finding a weapon and trying to take down a geared guy. So now they've just basically exiled everyone to the eastern coast where there's nothing and you can't do anything and you're fighting over scraps. And there's just no progression. There was even such solid proof that people weren't enjoying this. There were people suiciding off the silos just constantly. There was bodies everywhere. But then they just decided, rather than change it back, what we'll do is we'll stop people from jumping off the silos and jumping off of police stations by adding a barrier around them. It's just mental. I mean, 4.5 years. It's embarrassing. And that's something that is going to scar your reputation forever. Everyone is going to remember that this game took 4.5 years or even 5 years. God knows when they release this as a beta. When? In a few months after this stress test? Either way, you're going to round the number up and you're going to say it took 5 years. 5 years. 2013 this game came out in. It took 5 years for you to make this game into a beta. It took Rust just as long. But Rust has an element in it that you go back to because it's a game. It's not a simulation. The whole jumping over the fence thing, this, I don't know what that is. They've just abandoned the vault mechanic because it keeps breaking people's legs. So, you know, they've just thought, yeah, well, you know, rather than fix a problem, let's just completely avoid it in the first place by adding some goofy fucking over the wall jump. But at the end of the day, that's a bit of progression. They've changed something. They've got rid of the simulation aspect and kept a bit more of a game aspect in it. Like, it looks fucking ridiculous, but I mean, the amount of times you would have random broken legs on DayZ was just stupid. You had it in the mod, but in the mod it was, again in the mod, there was the resources to fix it. If you had a broken leg in Cherno, you'd be like, oh, Bob, I've broke my leg. Go and find me some, go and find me a blood pack. Go and find me an EpiPen. And they would go and do it, and they would find it. But here you just can't because it doesn't exist. And look, my water's gone to red already. I've been in the game 4 minutes, probably. And now I'm going to die from dehydration again. I don't think they're ever going to add mod support. Because why would they add mod support? I think it's a lie. I think they won't add mod support because it will compromise the game to hackers. And I don't really know why, you know. Yeah, at the end of the day, there are duplication bugs on this that have existed since it came out. So am I right in saying that the reason they're not going to release this to modders is because of the threats from hacks? Oh, don't even talk about the trees. Don't even talk about the trees. Oh, yeah, now you've pissed me off. Now you've pissed me off. Because that was fucking annoying. Don't worry about the progress of DayZ, because we now have trees that sway. Don't worry about the fact that we don't have helicopters in, which existed in the mod. Stop comparing it to the mod! No, I'm always going to compare it to the mod. It's fine we don't have helicopters. It's fine we don't have bicycles. It's fine that we don't have, you know, any sort of casual play. We have swaying trees. We have swaying trees. Look at that fucking sway. It's like literally, it's like a striptease from a tree. All the other trees in the surrounding area are horny as fuck watching that thick tree shake his fucking bark for everyone. I don't give a fuck about the trees, honest to God. I'll admit though, I will admit it does look good. But I really wouldn't have cared. I really wouldn't have cared if they said, oh, we're terribly sorry, guys. We won't be adding swaying trees and weather effects. You've got bigger priorities. You've really got bigger priorities than wind. I want comments in defense of this. I really want comments in defense of this because I want to know if you're a hardcore DayZ standalone lover. I want to know what you think because some people can be over defensive, I think. And you said, I love the way it is, man. I love hard looting, but I think we need the servers where there's a lot more loot and casual servers with a standard loot economy. Exactly. There is not enough variation. And that brings me on to another fucking point. Oh my fucking God, seriously? Another fucking point, 4.5 years. You can't add something that tells me the server's about to restart. Honest to God. That, for me, really fucking tickles my wick. Because it feels like you're being lazy. It feels like you honestly, you don't give a fuck about, you know, the comfort of your game. You don't care about the little things. And the little things can seriously make a big impact on a game sometimes. The mod had that. Stop comparing it to the mod. No! Because it is what made the game. Without the mod, this wouldn't exist. This wouldn't have got developed without the mod. And it had it. It had a warning. You would go and hide in a building. Everything would go flat quiet. And you don't even have that yet. A rant from a gamer is what you want. A rant from a fan is what you want. You don't want to go and ask your grandmother what she thinks of the current state of DayZ. She ain't gonna fucking know. You're not gonna ask a fucking League of Legends player. You're not gonna ask any other type of player. You're gonna ask someone who knows the game and gets on with the game. Well, that's pretty much it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please drop a like and let me know what you want added. Let me know what you want changed. If you didn't like it, then I'm assuming you're one of these flaming fanboys. You can drop me a dislike if you want. I don't really care, but that's all from me. I'll see you in the next video of whatever the hell content I make. I don't even know.